And then I didn't get the job. But then he called back and he said, do you want to be Pete? I said, I'll be anything. Hi, I'm Mia Goth, and today I'm letting Elle ask me anything. Am I nervous? A little. Which Frankenstein co-star surprised you the most? Probably the creature. I was taken by how much humanity there was in his performance. Even with all of the prosthetics, it was very easy to connect with him in our scenes, and I guess that was probably what I found most surprising. I had a little, anxiety, I guess, as to how that was going to work and how that would feel, but it kind of turned out better than I could have hoped and ended up being some of my favorite scenes in the movie. What does a Mia Goth rom-com role look like? Maybe Blue Valentine with a little bit more funny sprinkled in here or there? We should do that. Yeah, I think that's what my rom-com would be. What's one role you wish you had auditioned for? I don't think I've ever turned down an audition. If anything, the question should be, what job are you glad you didn't get? Because more often than not, you end up watching the movie and you kind of think, oh, well, glad I dodged a bullet there. Who's given you the best career advice? Probably Lars von Trier when I was filming Nymphomaniac, my first movie. We sat down and he told me to go through the script and just cross out any of the lines or the directions that weren't working for me and to put in place something that was. The longer I do this, the more I see how right he was about that and how it's so important to own your character and for it to feel right in coming from you, and it always stuck with me and just generally as an actor. What was your most memorable audition? Maybe my Nymphomaniac audition, because it was quite a lengthy process, and I remember I was so nervous and I was in London and I was there early and I was very hungry, so I went and got a cheeseburger at Burger King. And I went in for the audition, and after that I had to fly to Copenhagen, and then me and Lars had sushi, and I remember I was thinking to myself, I don't know how to use chopsticks. He's gonna... And my mum always told me to learn how to use chopsticks. And I didn't know how, and I thought, I fucked it up and I'm not gonna get the job. And then I didn't get the job. And I was like, oh. But then he called back and he said, do you wanna be Pete? I said, I'll be anything. What's your favorite red carpet look of yours? My dress that I just wore to the Venice Film Festival. That was designed by Jonathan Anderson for Dior. It was this beautiful chocolate brown satin gown, and I just felt so beautiful in it, and I really don't think I've ever felt better on a night than I did that night. How many takes did you do for Pearl's final monologue? What happened was we were in this little studio. We had these tents, and I remember I was in one tent and then Ty was in the other, but I could hear everything that was being said. And then he was like, well, if Mia can't do it, it's okay, we can always cut between the takes, we've got a backup. And I heard that and it crushed me because I was preparing for this for so long, and I was I was ready, and I thought my director didn't believe in me. And I think hearing that really kind of motivated me even more, and kind of was exactly what I needed to hear, was exactly what Pearl needed to hear. And so maybe we ended up doing it maybe 3 or 4 times. Which roles of yours challenged you the most creatively? I think Elizabeth in Frankenstein was quite challenging. I've been such a huge fan of Guillermo's my whole life. I remember being in geography class when I was about 12 years old, watching Pan's Labyrinth, and it really sticking with me. And yeah, I mean, working with him is like being in a constant hug all the time, felt very supported, and he knew how nervous I was, and the fact that it was Guillermo del Toro having a chance to make the movie that he was always meant to make. I mean, that pressure never really left me, but he was incredibly supportive, and I learned so much from him. What was the best note Guillermo del Toro gave you? Probably that whatever it is I choose to do with the character, I can't go wrong with it. He told me that after we had met, the character of Elizabeth kind of came to life, and he was able to finally put her down into the script, but up until that point she was just like this rough sketch. And so whatever it is that I decide to do with the character, it'll be the right choice and to follow it. What's one line from one of your films that fans quote to you the most? I'm a star! I'm a star! Which horror film has actually kept you up at night? I don't think a horror movie has ever kept me up at night. It takes a lot to scare me. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to check out my ELLE cover.